Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Akakwadash. The double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of GMS who ruled well. Peace and salutations to the elect. My name is Aina. The title of this video is Plans to Eliminate Cash Payments at Gas Stations and Toll Booths in Mexico. Right, we know this is going into the MOTB. All right, the mark of the beast. Okay, right, the digital currency. Right, the CBDCs. Right, the technocracy that's being set up. Right, the New World Order. Right, and it's happening all over the world. Right, the world is going digital. That's the phase that we're moving into. And what's happening now is basically the squeeze to bring this. Right, this war with Iran that's happening is a good, it'd be a good segue basically for these devils to enter into the New World Order, right, by bringing collapse in here in the world. Right, different things are happening in the United States regarding so-called, T attacks and different things. We have the energy crisis that's happening all around the world. Right, Trump basically threatened to bomb the energy infrastructure of Iran, and Iran threatened to bomb basically America and America's interests back, which will basically cripple the world. Right, and then from there they could do some type of FF event, whether it be Project Blue Beam or something else or whatever the case may be, because they're all in this. Right, they're all ready for this New World Order because this goes back to the Amalekites, the central banks, right, people that own the money, and they want a centralized, AI technocracy basically, right? Where and they're going to be behind it, right? But they're pushing these different governments to push for this thing. And here's another step, towards that thing. And this is happening with great speed. They're saying by the end of the year, Mexico is wanting this thing. And there was another article that I did a video on where they were talking about the fact that everyone will need to basically register in the database, like the AI database, right? The digital database, and have your information updated to that system if you want to use your cell phone. All right. And, so this might cause a problem too in Mexico because the cartels, which Trump is talking about a lot. This will have to, if they're trying to get gas now, they will have to use some type of digital payment, right? Even the toll booths, right? You can't use the toll booths, right? And now if you want to use phones, you have to have you have to be connected to their system because they control the towers, right? And all of that. So this could cause little problems here and there in Mexico, right? And then they could do the same thing, some type of event where power goes out, whatever the case may be,
Even if they're not seemingly linked together, you can never let it be said that they don't take full advantage of a disaster, of a world event, of a totally organic event that just takes place, and then lots of other events and solutions and reactions and bits around it just come about, seemingly all over the place as well. Now, I don't speak the language, but this is the president of Mexico talking about eradicating cash from petrol stations and toll booths.
Nuestro objetivo es que este año.
Now, I reached out to one of the brothers and just told him, he speaks Spanish, told him, just to like fact check it for me. And, he hasn't got back to me yet, but, Lord willing, he does. And if it turns out it's not, factual, I'll take it down. But most likely it is because this is exactly where we're heading. All right. So I don't know what she's saying, but this is what she's saying right here, basically.
A través de los esquemas que trabajemos con la banca, hagamos obligatorio el pago de las gasolinas y de las casetas a través de manera digital. Esto va a permitir potenciar
Yes, Claudia Sheinbaum. Claudia is all in on the digital infrastructure, the digital IDs in Mexico, just to bring it up to speed, the CBDC, central bank digital currencies, and one of the first moves to eradicating cash completely is making it mandatory that cash won't be accepted at petrol stations and toll booths. What the link is there, I don't know. But hey, petrol and oil, there's a lot of stuff going on with that at the moment. But
yeah, I was gonna say too, they can, even with them saying this, and now we have this crisis, where we'll have to see what happens, how Mexico is gonna get enough gas, or are they gonna be rationing and things like that. And so it lines up perfectly, to try to bring about that payment system where it's only digital now, however they do it.
How it's all linked, I don't know. I still find it quite miraculous how one thing, is potentially a big old thing, into totally organic, like I said though, but one thing can ripple out, and lots of solutions can be gathered, including digital and the eradication of cash, and how lots of different countries all over the world seem to do all the same thing at the same time too. It's quite amazing, quite organic is the word we'll keep using, shall we, Todd?
Right. So basically what he's saying is the whole world, is heading towards this digital, system. So this is the article that he got. And I didn't really find too much on it. Some, a few places are reported on this, but it makes all the sense in the world. It says, looking to an all digital future. This is the president of Mexico plans to eliminate cash at the pump and the toll booth. And it's posted March 20th, 2026. It is March 23rd. All right. And you can't read this. You got to subscribe, I guess, register, But yeah, just blowing the horn on that, we know the scriptures. Revelations 13 and 11, it says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. This is America. And he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. These two horns are like a lamb, represent your different parties, right? Republican Party, Democratic Party. Spake as a dragon, which goes into the draconian measures, right? Leading up to this where we're at now, because they're all one. Even though you got the right and the left, it's just really one head. And that head is the Amalekites who run the world, and the whole world, as you can see, is pushing toward this digital system. So it was really never a right and a left, right? It was only the dragon with the draconian measures to bring about total control, right? Where they're able to turn you off or turn you on, let you continue into society or not, right? Tell you how much of what you have done, what you got, or how much of something you got. Anyway, it says, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, Rome. Right? What is it? Elon Musk said America is the new Rome, right? Which it is true. Pursuant to scriptures. It says, and he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose everyone was healed. Right? A lot of his policy, his laws, structure of how he built up his kingdom. America is built off of the Roman Empire. Right? It says, and he doeth great wonders, so that he make a fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Right? Esau even was blessed with the sword. He dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Right? And then went out to basically deceiving the world, and just saying, I can destroy everybody, with these bombs. Right? So the earth was basically still before him. All right. And that's why in these last days they want to denucleify, because everyone has those bombs now. And you're seeing how well it's working out for America in these last days. It says, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do, in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. Right, that's the Roman Empire, right? And then you have something called the Renaissance period, where basically America came back. You had the the Revolutionary Wars, right? America broke away from the British. All right, and they set the 13 colonies. Then they became a state or a country, whatever. And with that backing them was the elites. These 1948ers that run and own the world, right, and own the money. And this is what they're pushing for, right? And they used America heavily to like push their agenda on the world, you know, because America was that guy, right? So that image is that new world order, that system that's being built, right? And it's pretty much here. They're not really lacking nothing. Good examples is like China or Switzerland, you know, and I know better about China, where everything is already, you know, robots, digital system. You know, they use their phones for everything. You know, tap this, tap that, order on your phone. You know, all of that. The only thing they're missing now is that micro C hip into their body, and they'll be fully already. You know, they already have the tracking with the cameras and things like that. That's why you have a lot of people homeless. Maybe, you know, people have spoke against the government, whatever they did. Social credit score system is low, right? So they're being put out of society, right? That's what's coming to basically the world in America. The only thing is you're gonna have that micro C hip in your hand, right? It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, right? Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right, so this devil runs and controls the world. That's his power. He had the power to do the things that he wanted to do. You know, a lot of it is through the sword, right? Esau's blessed with the sword, threatening people, blackmailing people. We can see what he's even doing to Donald Trump right now, and the many presidents before Donald Trump. We see what happened to JFK. Once he got out of line, he got eliminated. CK got out of line, he got eliminated. Different people, individuals, different people that own these different corporations, Cash App and things like that, they get out of line, they get eliminated. And even the people, you know, they eliminate you in a way by scaring you, you know, putting that fear towards you to get in order and get in line. The 9/11 event, you know, that happened. They was able to, you know, hurdle you into what they wanted. You know, the CVID event, they was able to hurdle you into what they wanted. All right, and now this last event that's happening, which is basically World War III and what follows, you know, the collapse of everything, so they can try to rebirth themselves again. But this is the end, right? The scriptures tell us that Yahweh Bashmi Shai pulls up at this time during this war, because the nuclear missiles that they have will be shot. That's something they didn't want to happen, but these nuclear missiles will be shot. All right, and the elect around the world will need to be gathered up and delivered from the destruction that's going to come from that. It says Revelations 13 and 15, he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as will not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Right, you're X'd out from society, and ultimately you die. You know, you can't eat or anything like that. You ultimately die. You know, especially in a place like America, where, you know, it's probably harder to be homeless. You know, fruit, it's not really growing on trees. You're in the city, you know, wherever the case may be. It says, and he calls us all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand on their forehead, that Karagman. The Karagman, it says a stamp, an imprinted mark, right? Of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist, the mark branded upon horses, stained, carved, sculpture, given work of idolatrous images, right? So this is a imprinted mark, right? Something that'll be carved into you, all right, into your body, the Quran. Right, we got Neuralink popping off, right? People are, you know, basically, you know, looking at that, you know, seeing what it can do, is telling people, is helping them to walk, see again, you know, move things with their brain, play video games, things like that. And then we have the Karagman, right? That they have. You know, some people are already getting that, being able to do the things that you do with your credit cards, like tap to pay. It's the same system, right? You got like a chip already inside the credit card. You know, you're tapping to pay. But the actual chip, micro C hip, right? That Karagman is going to be that digital device that you put inside of your body, where then you can just put the palm of your hand where you used to put your card or your phone to pay. You know, if you got a job and you have to get inside the door, and you got the badge, right? I think it even said that you got the badge to get inside the door. This is what they call it too. It's a chip in there to open the door, but they're gonna put that, in your hand. All right, you need that badge to get inside that workplace, but they're gonna put it inside your hand, basically. And I mean, I would assume that, even if we are working, because they want a universal basic income, but I was thinking about maybe people get fired, they can program the chip to take away the badge, whatever the case may be, upgrade it, however the case may be. It says Revelations 13 and 17, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark. So with this mark, you won't be able to buy or sell like you do now. If you buy some chicken, you buy, some lemonade, whatever the case may be, you buy, a new house, you're buying groceries, right? You're buying some clothing, all right? Some chandeliers, comforters, the couch, right? You buying stuff for your lawn, some mulch, some grass, some rakes, a leaf blower. You're buying a car, all right? You're paying funds to your favorite place that you like to give donations. All of these things are going to be done, or can't be done, unless you have the chip now. It says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, which is the charagma, which is the physical digital device that's going to be put into your body, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name, right? And it goes into the chip, the physical device put into your body, all right? It says Revelation 13:18, it says, here is wisdom, let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is a number of a man, and his number is 603, and that goes to that Chi-Psi stigma. All right. Chi-Psi stigma, right? And the number is 666, right? 666. You got the Chi-Psi stigma. The X, basically, they X'd out Yahushua here. This character here is going to the wisdom. Then you have the stigma, right, which goes into, again, the mark, right? You have Galatians here, Galatians 6:17. Says, from henceforth let no man trouble me, for I bear in my body the marks of the Lord Yahushua. And you get that word marks here, and it goes into stigma, right? Physical, marks. It says a mark pricked in or branded upon the body. To ancient Oriental usage, slaves and soldiers wore the name or the stamp of their masters, or of their master or commander, branded or prick cut into their bodies to indicate what master or general they belonged to. And there were even some devotees who stamped themselves in this way with a token of their gods. Right, so there's a mark pricked in or branded upon the body, right? A physical mark, which goes into that stigma, which these devils are about to roll out once they bring the chaos. Because no one is going to accept this, right? A lot of people, the Bible built, right? A lot of people know about this thing because the prophets have been out there, going back to the 1960s, onto this very moment, telling you and warning you about this mark, right? This charagma, this mark of the beast, right? MOTB, that the devil will roll out. And we're at that time now where he's about to bring the chaos so he can bring in his order, and his order is a new world order. And this new world order is a digital technocracy, okay? Ruled by AI, right? And it's all going digital. But like I said, the people won't accept it. So what he's going to do and what's happening is this war is fueling the fire, basically for everything to unfold right now. So we're about to enter the Jacob's trouble, the cities and things being troubled. Why you think we got the ICE running around, martial law, the National Guard and things like that. All these things are happening now, because now it's the time, basically. All right, we're measuring the time diligently in itself, right? And we see the signs, right? The Most High Yahweh Bashmawashah has put his men out here, the prophets, to warn, right? And this is what we see, and this is what we're telling you, right? And everything that has been said before has been coming to pass and still coming to pass, because the scriptures, they're faithful, right? And they're true. All right, so Lord willing, you were edified from this lesson. Shalom to the overlay, which consists of men, women, and children. Shalom.